Welcome back, Rob Chang, metals and mining analyst from Versant Partners. Rob, you've been listening to our three guests. Can you give us your thoughts?
Absolutely. The Yukon has been a very hot sector, a hot region actually, and there's been a lot of talk about it being the next Carlin, the next Nevada. A lot of excitement just from the people I talked to working out of there. What are your thoughts, gentlemen?
Well, you know, I think I agree fully. I think it's a place in fairly short order. You know, it's gone from a few raw discoveries to some very brand new, big, significant discoveries where companies have been taken over in the span of 8 to 12 months. An environment where, in Taku, for example, they went from a soil anomaly to a one drill hole that added $600 million to the market cap virtually overnight. And it's an area that hasn't seen that historic exploration, or at least not that level of exploration as elsewhere. And I think the rise in the price of gold has really opened it up entirely. You got a proactive government up there that's really supporting the industry, and you know, any one of us has a chance here of hitting it big.
I have to ask, I'm curious, what are some of the obstacles you've had to overcome in order to progress?
Well, I can touch on that. The biggest obstacle for us being in the Yukon would be the short work season, and typically for a mining company in warmer climates, you can work all year round, you can drill all year round. So one of the challenges for a junior resource company in working solely in the Yukon without any warm weather projects would be the short work season, basically from about May until September, October.
Well, I'd just like to touch on what Darwin said. It's you know, Yukon was even five years ago was kind of a wasteland. Nobody would go up there and do any work. And you know, when other parts of North America or the world were busy, lots of exploration, there was really nothing going on in Yukon. I think at one point the total exploration expenditures one year were down to $5 million, and I dare say there'd be more exploration in Mississauga than that. The projection this year is for $350 million. And you know, whenever you take virgin territory in a geological sense and you apply expertise and money at it, there's bound to be discoveries. You know, the speed of these you know, from I take Underwood as an example. That was discovered by a drill hole. 8 months later, it was taken out by Kinross for $139 million, I believe. So, you know, it's got this potential to make companies, and that's what we really like about it. The other thing is that we're able to, as a small company, we're able to acquire huge tracts of property. I'm more used to working in Quebec and Ontario, where you know, you're lucky to put together maybe 20, 30 claims. You know, just by staking, we have gone out and acquired blocks of 400 and 500 claims, which. You know, the more land you have, statistically, you have a better shot of finding some mineralization.
Well, Rob, I believe all three companies have some brilliant projects heading forward here, but I'm going to take advantage of the fact that we have an expert on this show, and I'd like to ask you, do you see any flaws or any concerns in any of their plans moving forward?
I actually think that the stories are actually pretty solid.
Yeah?
The interesting thing that I found about the region, I think everyone's going forward with it, is the fact that there's a lack of glaciation in the Yukon area. And they do exploration because of that, because they find things on the surface and be able to search below it. I guess the potential flaw I could find in any company is if they fail to locate mineralization because of that. I don't know if you gentlemen have any thoughts on that, but it's one unique thing I have noticed about the Yukon is that exploration seems extremely simple. You just find something on the surface and just drill directly beneath it.
Yeah, well, I mean, what it is so much of the area hasn't been explored, you know, and that you can go out and do this very basic, back to the basics type work, these soil surveys. And the soil surveys, basically, there's an ore deposit in the ground, you're going to get a reflection of it in the soils. So the higher the values in the soils, probably the better looking the ore deposit is below it, and the bigger the anomaly, the happier you are. And you know, we're pretty happy with what we've found. We now have a 6.5 kilometer long soil anomaly with some nice high tenor values in there. You know, and speaking to this idea of you know, if you miss or something like that up there, I think, you know, having other opportunities in the portfolio is helpful as well. You know, we're backstopped by an actual copper zinc deposit we've made in Alaska. We've got another company that's drilling on our property of ours in BC. Got about 40 holes that were drilled there this summer. Results are soon to be out on another project in Ontario. So diversify that risk and lots of opportunity for the investor to hit a home run.
There are different thoughts on that. As a former portfolio manager myself, sometimes you want the companies to focus on just one area and be a play for that specific area, whereas others do a portfolio approach, such as your firm. How about you, gentlemen? How
Well,
do
we're certainly all in. We've done this corporate spin out. We've made Stakeholder specifically a gold company working only in Yukon. And there are challenges because of the short exploration season, but we see the potential there as being huge, and we're willing to be that type of focused company.
As far as Taku goes, Taku has an advanced stage gold deposit right on the Yukon border of British Columbia, but all of our staging is, over the last, say, 6 years, has been done out of Whitehorse. And it's really what got us into the Yukon in the first place is because that BC property is so close to the Yukon border. But ever since we got into this White Gold District play, we also have decided to go all into the area and focus all of our exploration on that White Gold District.
Mm-hmm. And Rob, do you think anyone's missing from the panel?
Well, there are several strong exploration companies in the Yukon area. Mm-hmm. The ones that have been named are definitely strong, such as Kaminak. There are other ones. Pacific Ridge is also another strong one, but there are several really good exploration companies. These three definitely among them.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you gentlemen the same question.
Well, you know, I like Attack because of what they're looking for. I think they have a district scale sort of Carlin environment on their hands already. Time will tell in terms of how large that's going to be. But you know, I think a lot of it comes back to management. You've got everyone here is a solid management team, you know, and that's the start. I think the foundation for investing in a junior company is starting with a good management team that can go seek those opportunities, and we're all just really excited about what the Yukon has on offer.
So would this be the new Yukon Gold Rush? Would you say it's the next one?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
You know.
Well, I just like to say, like a rising tide lifts all ships. You know, it's so hard if you're an exploration manager. You might have a great property and some great ideas, but it's very hard to attract capital if there is an interest in your area. And it's actually the Yukon story is well known now. People understand that there is potential there. And it's not necessarily easy to raise money, but it's easy to tell the story now.
The only other company I'd say that it would be Kinross, who's in the area, one of the lead players in the area, and of course Kaminak. But this show is called The Next Biggest Winner, so they've already won, and they've already realized that massive leap in their in growth in their market capitalization and stock price. And so I think it's companies like ours that deserve to be here on this panel at this stage in our development.
Yeah, Zach touches on a key side of the sector that a lot of the retail aren't as familiar with. Our goal is to make that discovery. That's where the big value add is. Exactly. And when that gold production is 10 years out, you know, that's not the investors that should be investing in us. The investors that want to invest in us are for that big win, that big drill hole discovery.
I want to thank our guests for joining us today. Thank you, gentlemen, and thank you, Rob. And that's our show. So you've heard what they have to say. Now the rest is up to you. To learn more about each of the companies profiled today, visit their websites or speak with your certified financial advisor and get all the facts before you invest. And join us next week when we will introduce you to 3 more publicly traded companies that you can invest in and who might just be the next biggest winner. Until then, have a good night. I'm Andra Enescu.